Welcome to Audible Tech. I'm Timothy. Today I will review the Alcatel T 5033T. This is the Alcatel T 5033T. It has a 4.95-inch display, 3G and 4G connectivity, 1GB of RAM, and 8GB of internal storage that is expandable up to 32GB with a micro SD card. This phone has been my main smartphone for the last 4 years. It works fine. I have had a few problems with it over time, but other than that, it works fine for a basic budget smartphone and has served me well. Let's take a look around at the Alcatel T 5033T. On the side here, we have the power button and the volume button. On the bottom here, we have the charging port right here. On this side, there is nothing. On the top here, there is a headphone jack. On the front here is the front-facing camera. And on the back, we have the rear camera and a flashlight. I'm going to wake the phone up now and take a look at it. So it wakes up just like that, as you can see, and this is what the home screen looks like here. I'm going to show you how slow or fast the phone is by loading up a couple of web pages. I'm going to start by loading up the web browser, which is Google Chrome. And the home page is set to Google, so it will load up Google here. So as you can see, it wasn't as fast as I would have liked, but it still works. Now I'm going to load up a web page. I'm going to load up Facebook just to show you how long that takes. Here we go with Facebook. And Facebook has loaded up, as you can see. Now if I tap go back, that should take us back to Google. And there we go. So that's basic web browsing. Now I'm going to move on and open up some apps. As I move on to apps, I just wanted to say that the phone is quite snappy when it comes to browsing menus, as you can see, and navigating forwards and back. And this here is a list of recent apps. I'm going to open up YouTube and show you what that's like. So it wants me to update the app, which I'm not going to do on video. I have got the YouTube app updated. Now I'm going to move on and open it up. I'm now going to open up the YouTube app. And then I will demonstrate how a video plays by playing a video for you once the app has loaded up. YouTube does work fine on this phone. It used to. But now as the phone's getting old, it's getting kind of slow, and YouTube sometimes can take a while to load, and it doesn't always work real well. This here is an ad, so I'm just going to close out of that. And I'm going to go to my channel and play a video for a few seconds just to show you how videos play here. So I'm going to go ahead and play my channel trailer for you very quickly. Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Timothy Bella. I do technology videos and I sometimes do thunderstorm videos. This is my Motorola W490. I got it from eBay for $15 plus $5 postage. This is my Nokia 3310. I got it from eBay for $50. This is my Samsung Galaxy Fit. And that is how videos play on here. So as you can see, it still does work, but it's just not as fast as it used to be, but it works just fine. But that is the YouTube app. Now that I have demonstrated how a video plays back on the phone, I want to talk a little bit more about the phone before I move on and discuss the issues that I've been having with the phone. When I first got this phone brand new, it worked fine and there was no issues, but something I've always noticed with this phone is the battery life is not very good. Depending on what you're doing for calls, it usually lasts around 2 to 3 hours. It was around 3 hours when I first got it, but now it only tends to last 2 to 2.5 hours for calls. For web browsing, the battery life is also not very good. I could get about 2 hours of web browsing just doing basic tasks, but if I did something like watching videos or playing games, the battery life went down a lot quicker. And now as the phone's getting old, I can't browse the web much at all because the battery goes down very fast. And the same thing is happening using apps. So the battery life is not very good on this phone when it's new. And as it gets old, the battery life gets even worse. So that is one issue that I've had with the phone. And just to show you, the phone was 100% when I started. And as you can see now, after doing those few things that I showed you, the battery life is already down to 91%. And when the phone was brand new, it didn't even go down that fast. I have also sometimes had the phone turn off when I've been watching a video or browsing the web, and then when I turned it back on, the battery was very low. But that's what the battery life is like on the phone. Other issues I've had with the phone include the phone sometimes freezes, mostly when I'm browsing the web or trying to open up apps. It can freeze often. Sometimes it works fine like it did today, but often it does freeze and the phone does run quite slow at times when opening apps and browsing the web. And the other issue I've had with the phone is when trying to download apps from the Google Play Store, it has often got stuck for a very long time on pending, and sometimes I couldn't do it at all, but today it worked fine, which I'm really happy about. And I've also had trouble updating the software on this phone because it just won't do it for some reason. It keeps failing. But aside from these issues, I haven't had any other issues on the phone. I'm going to move on and do a couple of tests on the phone. First, I'm going to test the audio. This is what the audio sounds like on the Alcatel T 5033T. It's not as good as some phones, but it's not real bad either. But it can be quite bad quality if you're trying to record something that's a few feet away from you. That's something I have noticed. But for close-up recordings, it seems to do okay, but there are many other phones that have a lot more better audio quality than this. I will pop this audio recording up on screen for you, and you can have a listen for yourself and decide how good or bad you think it is. But that's the audio on the Alcatel T 5033T. Secondly, I'm going to test the camera on the Alcatel T 5033T for photos and video. This is the front-facing camera on the Alcatel T 5033T. This is what the video recording looks like. It's not very good quality, but it still works. But this is what it looks like. I'm also going to go and try it outside to demonstrate the difference. This is the front-facing camera on the Alcatel T 5033T outside. As you can see, it's a little bit better because there's some light out here, but it is still nothing real good. But that's the front-facing camera on the Alcatel T 5033T. Let's move on to the rear camera. This is the rear camera on the Alcatel T 5033T. On video here you can see my JVC Bluetooth speaker. This is what it looks like inside. I'm going to also try the rear camera outside to show you the difference. This is the rear camera on the Alcatel T 5033T outside, a little bit better than inside, as you can see, because there's some more light out here, but it's still nothing real good. On video here you can see a little garden that I've got just outside, a little bit away from my back door. But this is what the rear camera looks like on the Alcatel T 5033T outside. That concludes the tests that I wanted to do on the Alcatel T 5033T. I just wanted to point out, in case you're wondering, the front-facing camera on the Alcatel T 5033T is 2 megapixel and the rear camera is 5 megapixel and the video recording is 480p. That concludes all the tests that I wanted to do on the Alcatel T 5033T. Now I want to end off by giving you my final thoughts on the phone and whether or not you should buy it. Overall, the Alcatel T 5033T is not a bad phone. I like the fact that the memory can be expanded, and it is a good phone for calls and texts. What I don't like about the phone is the battery life, and also that it freezes often, and you can't play games or use apps for very long without the battery life going down. I recommend this phone to anyone who is on a budget and is looking for a cheap phone. If you just want a phone for calls and texts and maybe a little bit of light web browsing, but not for anything more than that. I don't recommend this phone to anyone who wants to do a lot of web browsing, play a lot of games, or use a lot of apps, because the battery life will go down very fast. If that's the case, I recommend you look for a different smartphone. For its price, it's not bad, but there are definitely better smartphones out there. Even for the price of the Alcatel T 5033T, you can find some other smartphones that are a little bit better for the price. The Alcatel T 5033T cost me $99 to buy brand new, but now that it's not available in stores anymore, you can still buy it online on websites like eBay and Amazon at a much cheaper price. I've seen it available for between $50 and $70. Even prices a little bit lower or higher than that. It just depends on the seller and condition of the phone. That concludes this review of the Alcatel T 5033T. If you would like to see a written review that includes a full list of specifications as well as a full list of pros and cons, visit my website. I have a full review of this phone on my website with specifications and pros and cons. I will put the link in the description so you can check that out if you are interested. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer them and help you out. I hope you found this useful. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.